This pandemic has caused many of us to feel a lot of stress and anxiety and face a lot of struggles that we weren't ready to face in a time span we weren't ready to deal with. But I want to see if today I can make you think of the positive side of this pandemic. And I want you to think about how this pandemic has really been a growth opportunity in a couple of different ways. I want to talk to you about how it's given people more time with their children, how we've been able to see the way people really are and how they react in stressful situations. And I want to talk about how working from home and doing class online has actually provided a growth opportunity in some ways. So first I want to talk about how adults with children, or doesn't have to be adults, but people with children have actually been able to grow from this pandemic. This pandemic has given people, whether they like it or not, a lot of time with their children. And it gives people, parents, more time to bond with their children. Now, speaking from personal experience, my brother and sister-in-law just had a kid, and if there wasn't a pandemic happening, they would be having to go back to work by now. But instead, they're able to work from home and really spend time and bond with their child. And another benefit is that they're not having to pay for childcare, which especially in California is extremely expensive. So not only are they able to bond with their daughter, but they're able to save a lot of money as well. Also, this pandemic has been a way to see how people, family, friends, react in stressful situations. Now, whether we like it or not, we have had to deal with tremendous stress. And seeing the way that others deal with stress is just something that doesn't really ever happen. We never really see it happen. But this pandemic has allowed us to grow and be able to interact and figure out how to deal with these difficult situations and stressed out and anxious people. And this is a skill that you'll use your entire life. You'll use it in customer service. You'll use it in your personal life. And it's just a skill that we've gotten really good at and that we've been forced to learn. And finally, I want to talk to you about how working from home and doing school at home has actually been a growth opportunity. I'm sure a lot of you are just shaking your head and just putting your foot down and saying, well, online school has been very difficult. And I won't deny that. It really has been difficult for some people. But it's also giving you a chance to mature more. Think about it. You don't have a teacher that you're seeing face to face who's telling you, you have this assignment due this day, or you're not doing well in your classes, or asking you why you're not showing up for class. This might be beneficial to some, and it does depend on the professor if they're sending you emails. But I think for a lot of us, it's given us a chance to really become responsible. You have to learn how to manage your time, and that is another skill that you're going to need throughout your whole life. So, while you might have been forced to take online classes, they're actually giving you a chance to grow and mature. Also, working from home is the same thing. You have to be mature and grown in order to work from home. You have to be able to set aside time, even while you're in a place of comfort and relaxation. Learning to set aside time and doing your work for your job is a really difficult skill, and it's something that a lot of people have had to learn. So, just to remind you, this pandemic has been a good growth opportunities in a couple of ways. It has given parents more time to bond with their children and allowed them to save on healthcare costs. Also, it's given us all the skill to learn how to deal with stressful situations and anxious people. And finally, it has made us mature more because we've been forced to learn how to time manage for school and for some people, even with work. So now I want you to think about in your life how there, of course, have been some challenging times, but I want you to really think about the good things, the good qualities that you learned from those challenging and difficult times, instead of just putting your foot down and saying, well, that was really difficult and I'm never doing it again. Think about